Hello, welcome to Insider Focus, and today we're looking at all things Celtic Football Club as they head towards another league title under Ange Postecoglou. Some of their stars are now getting attention, and you could see a summer where a few of them are out the door and Celtic are having to replace some of their key men. Let's talk about, firstly, the man who's been absolutely sensational for Celtic since signing, and that is Kyogo Furuhashi. Of course, the striker has been nothing but a goal machine. He's already got 20 league goals already this season. It looks like he's going to finish with the golden boot and the top scorer in Scotland too. He is contracted until 2025. Celtic would not sell him for cheap, of course, being their main man, but a good fee would come in for Kyogo, who's spoken before in previous articles in Japan about wanting to play in the Premier League, so it wouldn't surprise me if this is something that piques his interest. Of course, Palace need to understand who their manager is going to be next season, and they've got their own issues to sort out there too, but they are looking for a new front man, with the likes of Odsonne-Edouard struggling to get on the score sheet for them, struggling to produce another former Celtic striker. It is an avenue that they've been down before, and there is a business link there, so perhaps this is one to watch. Definitely one that's piquing people's interest is Kyogo, and it wouldn't surprise me if you see some moves come in for him in the summer. Matt O'Reilly's another player that's had a lot of interest from down south. That's not changed. That continues. Understanding this Championship and Premier League clubs are still looking at the central midfielder who signed from MK Dons. He's been absolutely brilliant for Celtic and another good signing. Probably not as imperative as perhaps some of the other names we're going to talk about, but 30 appearances in the league this season already. He is contracted again till 2026. Celtic have managed to nail these players down to good long-term contracts, which means the fees they're going to get for them are decent. Sometimes you see fees of kind of 20-25 million pounds floated for certain players. That's highly unlikely that they'll get that for any of these guys that we're going to talk about, but they will get good fees. They will be making profit. That machine that Celtic have got going in recruitment will continue to turn, with the likes of Hatate, who we're going to talk about, with Kyogo before as well. And Matt O'Reilly's another one on that conveyor belt who could see himself leave for more regular first team football than being a starting pick every week. And Celtic bringing in someone else to change him. They've also got Iwata in recently, the former J-League Player of the Year, who's scored his first goal for Celtic as well. So they're always bringing in new players, and Matt O'Reilly's another one that could make way for the next guy to come in and fill his space. Liel Abada is a player that is wanted by a number of Premier League clubs. Nothing new there. He's a player that's been tracked for a long time. Southampton have been very key on him, but of course they are fighting a relegation battle. Look out for Leeds here as well, and a number of other clubs who are looking at the Israeli international. Does not want to sign a new contract with Celtic unless he knows he's going to be paid more than he is now, obviously, and also be starting more games. He's made 29 appearances, but a lot of the time he does come off the bench, and you see in certain Old Firm games, for example, there's one this weekend where Maeda will start and Jota will start over Liel Abada, and certainly he's a player that has amazing quality. He's only 21 years old, contracted again to 2026, but a fee of around £10 million is likely to move him out of Celtic, and Celtic could again replace him. They have that conveyor belt going, and people like Liel Abada are the ones that are suffering for it. You've seen also what happened to players when they refuse to put pen to paper or they ask for too much, and Ange Postecoglou is not shy in moving those players out, like what happened to Giacomakis and even Juranovic. Although he was always going to move, there were some difficulties with contracts and things with Juranovic as well. So Ange Postecoglou's cutthroat is ruthless, and if you don't agree with the way he does things, you're out the door. Very much on the periphery and set to leave in the summer is Scott Bain. The goalkeeper's not made a league appearance for Celtic this season, contracted till 2024, so coming into his last year in the summer, has been left in the dark completely by Ange Postecoglou. They've obviously got Joe Hart now as well, and the three-time Scotland international has got suitors in Scotland itself and in the Championship and League One in England. A player who Celtic will likely get rid of because they could bring in another goalkeeper in the summer. There's a possibility Celtic could bring in a new number one or someone to challenge Joe Hart, and that might be surprising to some, but there are some Celtic fans that would welcome that news. And as I mentioned earlier, Reo Hatate, Brighton have a real interest in the Japanese midfielder. He has been excellent for Celtic, absolutely sensational since signing for the club. Probably going to get Player of the Year in Scotland this year. 27 appearances, 7 assists, 5 goals, and a range of passing and ability in the middle of the park that's certainly fantastic. Brighton have scouted a lot of his games. They have targeted him massively for the summer. not alone in that. There'll be a number of clubs interested in him as well. Watch Germany and Spain as well for Reo Hatate. His technical ability in the middle of the park is attracting a lot of suitors, and he is certainly one that Celtic are going to get bids for. Probably the one that they receive the most money for. 2026 is contracted till, and it could be quite a high bid to get him out of Celtic Park. The thing about Celtic signings is a lot of these guys are on really low wages. They're able to bring them from the J-League, where there isn't a lot of... The wages aren't very big at all. They come across to Celtic and they're not on massive wages into what you would think a Rangers and Celtic players on. And the opportunity to move on and triple their wages is something that would obviously really excites a lot of these guys. Reo Hatate obviously will want to play at the highest level too. He's still young, he's only 25, so he's still hit his peak years. And again, a player that has got his first cap for his country too recently. So yeah, a lot of excitement around him in England, and a lot of people moving towards Reo Hatate in the summer will be one that Celtic will be desperate to hold on to, but the chances of that happening are low if the Premier League comes calling. Who do you think Celtic could lose in the summer, and who do you think they could bring in? Let us know in the comments below. But that's your insider focus on Celtic. That's who the clubs are looking at, trying to attract away from the hoops in the summer, and Ange Postecoglou's got a job to try and keep hold of some of his star men. Thanks for watching, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.